What is gender ideology? It depends. Those who are nervous to address the concept would say it's nothing, it's a meaningless term. Conservatives see it as a blanket term also encompassing sexual diversity, gender identity, and feminism. Gay marriage? Gender ideology. Saying that women are discriminated against? Gender ideology. Acknowledging they were victims of conflict who were attacked due to their sexual orientation? Again, gender ideology. For his part, when we ask the gentleman who's always pointing a finger, gender ideology means to impose everything LGBTQ on culture, education, and laws. According to him, gender ideologists reject the relationship that exists between biology and behavior. That is to say, they believe that homosexuality is an option and that gender is something that we're taught when we're young. That's the idea they want to impose. But then what? Is gender ideology a thing or not? The truth is, it doesn't matter much. The word that should grab our attention isn't ideology or gender, but rather imposition. There's controversy, because each side feels that the opposing side's ideology is being forced on them. Who is imposing on whom? Let's explore further. You can argue over human nature and the role of culture, but in the end, we're not obligated to believe the same things. Believe whatever you want. Nevertheless, when we move from the realm of opinions and socializing over lunch to legalities, to matters of what you can and cannot do, it's not such a simple matter anymore. To put this in perspective, let's look at what LGBTQ people are asking for. They're not telling anyone how to live their lives. What they're asking for is to not be discriminated against. And, for example, prohibiting civil marriage to people of the same sex is a form of discrimination because you'd be denying someone a right based on their sexual orientation. And what is that right? Well, marriage has a ton of legal benefits, like the possibility of inheriting, splitting up possessions, obtaining citizenship, sharing a pension, among others. So the question is very simple. If we can all believe what we want, why should the law only protect one type of belief? In search of answers, let's consider the other side of the story. Those who fear gender ideology say they're defending the family. The argument would go more or less like this. Premise number 1, the family is the foundation of society. Premise number 2, the family, in accordance with the natural order, is comprised of a man and a woman. If not, then where do kids come from? Conclusion, families that are not comprised of a man and woman do not support society, and the law shouldn't protect them. Imposing gender ideology equates to forcing everyone to live in a society that's going to be thrown into disarray, or something like that. So, there are the 2 points. And to be frank, the family argument uses faulty logic that can be refuted using evidence and reason. Let's go slowly. It's true that the heart of society is not the individual, but rather the family. In effect, we all need a support network, especially when we're growing, because babies don't buy their own diapers, at least not yet. Good so far. Yes, but regardless, reality is full of families that don't fit this picturesque natural order. Families from other times and other places, but also families right here in this country, today. From the single mom, to aunts and uncles, to grandparents, even to groups of people who together assume the role of raising a child or caring for their elderly. And beyond the concrete existence of other types of families, we can also defend diversity with the mere exercise of reason. The importance of the family isn't dependent on it being comprised of a man, woman, boy, girl, and dog, but rather something much more abstract. If we talk about the family as the nucleus of society, what truly matters is that there are individuals ready to provide emotional and economic support, as well as other basic things like the transmission of knowledge. And that has nothing to do with chromosomes or gender. The only thing you could say against homosexual couples is that they are incapable of conceiving children with each other. That would be the basics of the conservative argument. Nevertheless, this is not an issue in a world with artificial insemination, 7 billion inhabitants and growing, unwanted pregnancies, and options like adoption. Oh, but just mention adoption and the entire debate changes. Somebody want to think of the kids? Society is not going to unravel if we allow for a broader legal definition of family that encompasses familial ties that actually exist. But in the process of presenting the argument, the matter of caring for and raising children comes up, and again, the idea of gender ideology being an imposition surfaces. It's not that conservatives feel obligated to watch society unravel with men smooching in the streets. The problem now is that children being raised by homosexual couples would have homosexual ideology imposed on them. Worse yet, children would be forced to go to school and receive lessons on respecting diversity. Oh, good heavens. But seriously? Is it really so horrible to teach children not to discriminate? Is that an unacceptable imposition? And anyway, let's suppose the problem isn't respect. What if they turn us gay? Well, that's one question, but here's a much better one. Why worry about sexual orientation? Is there perhaps something inherently bad about being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans? Yes, it destroys the family! But why? Because the family is made up of one man and one woman. Why? Because only a man and a woman can reproduce. Oh, we've been over this already. Overpopulation and alternative methods of reproduction. Please, tell me you see the irony. What we want is to defend the family, but talking about a supposed natural order limits the possibilities for all of us to have one. And this is particularly relevant in the case of adoption. A couple with life goals, a couple who consciously makes the decision to take in a child, is the type of family that will provide love, understanding, and affection. Precisely the type of family that supports society. And so? That being said, we can get back to the main point of this video. Gender ideology is described as a form of imposition. But the truth is that LGBTQ people are just asking to have certain rights respected, the same as heterosexuals, such basic rights as legal recognition of their familial ties and protection of their safety. If you don't agree with gender ideology, you have all the right to teach your kids whatever you want. Teach them that men don't wear skirts, that you can wear a bikini to the beach but not undergarments in the street. And if you believe that way, you can even teach your kids that homosexuality is wrong. The thing is that everyone can believe what they want, and rights should accommodate this diversity. But the line we can't cross is that which separates opinions from discrimination. Is that so horrible?